difficult to measure exactly how that service provider is performing, and that can lead to very costly project failures. So measuring the performance of IT services is often as important as measuring any other key business function, and it can often be a way of identifying where those areas of risk might be. And many large organisations run several IT projects. They have a whole IT program, and in any of these projects there will undoubtedly be failures. Some of the statistics you see about the level of failures within IT projects themselves, it's up to sort of 20 to 30% of them never really properly succeed. And that can be for various reasons. It can be lack of due diligence, lack of planning, lack of involvement from the company, from top management, lack of identification of where those weaknesses might be in that service provider relationship. But the failure rate is very high. So those failures can set that company back for years and can also make it difficult to comply with other corporate governance processes. The next area of risk is regulatory non-compliance. And many regulations and laws that apply to IT systems, such as privacy, data integrity, data protection, systems availability, and delivery of accurate financial reporting, for example, clearly have risks built into them. Many corporate governance regimes specifically demand that boards and senior executives understand their IT risks. So compliance programs, corporate governance programs need to ensure that there is some understanding of how data is being used, for example. The level of complexity simply around data protection is incredible, and the current European directive around data protection is currently being redrafted, and over the next few years we will see a whole new regime of data protection laws coming into place within Europe, including obligations around data breach that we currently see in the US. So from a corporate governance perspective, we will all see companies seeing data and the management of data, the management of information rising up to board level, getting board level attention. The next risk is around expenditure on technology, and actually suboptimal spending on technology can actually worsen the overall risk posture of an organisation. Good IT governance includes the understanding of cost drivers and issues in IT, the nature of budgets and spending, and how that spending is monitored. So with IT costs increasing as a proportion of corporate expenditure, shareholders and other stakeholders will expect organisations to be diligent in ensuring that those costs are justified and controlled. And that IT strategy around spending also must include planning for technology obsolescence. Technology that is inadequate for the enterprise or becomes obsolete too soon is actually a major concern for businesses. It has an effect on productivity, cost efficiency, as well as on security. The next risk is on IT management infrastructure. And IT management infrastructure plays a key role in IT governance. Often organisations don't have an infrastructure to support requirements of the business in an efficient, cost-effective and well-controlled manner. Infrastructure risks are associated with a series of information technology processes used in defining, developing, maintaining and operating the information processing environment and the associated application systems. And that often stems from a lack of or weak organisational planning. The use of wireless networks and IT outsourcing, as I've mentioned, storage of data on electronic systems, online sales and service channels, remote networking, increase in automation of manual processes, all continue to affect a company's IT risk exposure and can only be lessened by having effective IT management infrastructure. So there's some of the risks, the IT and technology risks that I wanted to look at in the context of corporate governance. But one of the issues that must come up in all of this is who within the organisation should be responsible for the identification, the management and the monitoring of IT risks. Who should be the owner within the business of IT risks? Because owning those IT risks and giving direction for managing those key risks will obviously be fundamental aspects of not only IT governance, but as I've been arguing, corporate governance as well. An absence of top management responsibility and accountability for risk management can result in serious risks being ignored, potentially misguided actions and wastage of capital. For the board has a responsibility for determining the strategic direction of the organisation and for creating the environment and structures for risk management to operate effectively. As IT has become more important to the operations and success of every business, some boards have recognised its role in business growth and incorporated it into the board's agenda, and that would be my argument for how certainly large organisations that use technology in a strategic way need to ensure that they are compliant with corporate governance rules and regulations. Many organisations, the board has actually taken more of a hands-off approach to IT, allowing the IT department or even third parties to whom technology is outsourced to take decisions and suggest projects or programs that might benefit the business. And the impact of such misalignment can have financial consequences, can lead to events which are damaging to the reputation of an organisation and obviously therefore have corporate governance implications. Some companies choose to delegate board-level oversight to steering committees in much the same way as they might do with audit and compensation. And boards remain challenged by such issues as who should sit on those committees, what level of technology expertise is required, and how best to use the skills of other business leaders such as non-executive directors. The board, as I'm sure you all know, has a fiduciary responsibility to shareholders in the organisation, while executive management will have the operational responsibility to ensure the continuation of business in the face of systems failure, threats or attacks, all of which fall within the realm of proper IT governance. The responsibility of the CEO involves adopting a risk control and governance framework, embedding responsibilities for risk management in the organisation, and monitoring those IT risks and accepting residual IT risks. I'm not sure how many CEOs really take on that responsibility, but certainly I would argue they should be. The responsibility of assessing risks and mitigating them to ensure that they are transparent to the stakeholders, implementing an IT control framework, ensuring that roles critical for managing IT risks are appropriately defined and staffed, that should lie with the CIO, the Chief Information Officer. So since the user of IT services the enterprise, it should set the mandate for risk management and provide the resources to support and monitor the plan designed to protect specific business interests. In today's complex business environment, the service provider, as I've said, a lot of services, IT services are outsourced. Those service providers also need to advise their clients to ensure that proper safeguards are in place. And there's a role there for the service provider as well. And internal and external auditors, and I would add to that the insurance companies, need to throw light on inadequate processes or risks not being appropriately addressed. They must assure the management that adequate measures have been adopted and implemented, or even make recommendations for improvement. And ultimately, individuals across the organisational hierarchy need to be aware of their responsibilities towards an effective IT and risk management program. Keeping the IT risk separate from the rest of the organisation simply won't work. The underlying don't. It will certainly cause problems in terms of the success of the organisation, and may also lead to the failure of the organisation, and certainly will cause problems in compliance with corporate governance. That's the end of my presentation. I hope you found it of interest, and I'm happy to take questions later if there are any.
Thank you, Peter. Mr. Vijay Goyal, the chairman of this session, is reached. Certainly, you would like to speak in the last.
Yes, correct.
All right.
I'm extremely sorry. I just got stuck in an important meeting, and sorry for that.
The subject of this session is role of corporate governance in strengthening the economy. Friends, I believe that a good corporate governance certainly leads to strengthening the economy. What I believe is that what do you require for the economy to be strengthened? Let us see from this angle. You require more and more market strategies, pumping of more money into market, then reaping the fruits out of it. Certainly, reaping of the fruits would be limited to the corporates who would be doing their business there. But certainly, it has got a positive effect on the economy of that particular area. Now, friends, I have got two examples. Certainly, I'll say something on that as well. Let us see how does this marketing strategy would lead to a better economy for a country or for a region as such. What I believe is good corporate governance would be decided by three angles. One is certainly the good marketing persons, that relates to the business experts, business management experts. Number two, the financial experts. And number three, certainly the corporate lawyers who can certainly show them the way what is to be done legally in that particular company as such. Good governance, good corporate governance would also lead into more mergers, new marketing strategies, new acquisitions from this country to another country, from another country to worldwide acquisitions. And certainly, when more and more money is pumped into the economy really flourishes. I can talk about my country, India, where we have agricultural based economy, and there is no doubt that it's a growing economy. We are talking about that time and again. Now, what was required was that in this particular aspect, how to generate or how to fund the rural sector, the agrarian sector in the country, so that it becomes a chain for economic purposes to boost the economy somehow. I have got two examples. One of is a great multinational company, that is Coca-Cola. Hence, it would not be out of place to mention here that in about 1977 or 79, due to government policies, the whole operations of Coca-Cola was stopped in India. Now, what happened thereafter? It could have been vanished, it could have been died, new market could have been emerged. Now, what happened thereafter was very interesting. New groups, new indigenous marketing firms, new indigenous production houses in this particular field, they cropped up. They started their functioning. They made their individual chain till the level of the villages. They started boosting this particular sector. After this ban was over, after a few years, then what happened? Again, Coca-Cola and Pepsi, these multinational companies again came to the country, and now by acquisition, by good corporate management, now corporate governance, they again bought over those groups like Parlays and all. They are again in the business. I remember the few years ago, about 10-15 years ago, it was difficult to have a Coke or a Pepsi or any, for that reason, any soft drink in the rural area in India. Now everybody, everywhere has got a facility that he can have that kind of a seat. Now here, I am not talking about the MNCs, or I'm not talking about the Coca-Cola or the Pepsi, but the point which I would like to make is that a chain is completed. Now, a chain of economic circle is being completed by this particular corporate kind of a corporate governance, where new and new marketing strategies are being put into place to deal with the larger group of people. Now, certainly, another example I would like to make is of in agricultural sector itself. There is a company, multinational company, New Holland Tractor.